list of progressives in the U.S. Congress is as follows. AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, Rokana Pramila, Jayed Powell, Mark Pocan, Jamal Bowman, Corey Bush, Marie Newman, Mondare Jones, Richie Torres, Barbara Lee, Chuy Garcia, Jamie Raskin, Katie Porter, and Raul Grijalva. Just looking at Mondare Jones, him and Richie Torres are the first openly gay black men of Congress. Mondare Jones worked for the Justice Department under Barack Obama. Mondare Jones wants $2,000 a month. Mondare Jones wants campaign finance reform, $15 minimum wage, a Green New Deal, universal child care, jobs program, instant runoff voting, nationwide voter registration. So, instant runoff voting, Green New Deal, universal health care, or child care. I know, Medicare for all isn't on this list, but Mondare Jones believes in Medicare for all. Who would vote against health care in a pandemic? Well, Emma Vigilant, Sam Seder, Nomiki Konst. Still, one more day, December 23rd, the hate continues, the melting down continues. Jimmy Dore thought a good thought. Jimmy Dore thunk a thought that Sam Seder did not thunk up. So here is Emma Vigilant, Sam Seder, and Nomiki Konst.
All right. So first of all, I'd just like to say I'm a huge fan of the show.
So the guy asked about forced to vote. So let's get to.
Well, you're welcome, I think.
So my main point of discussion is the whole Medicare for all argument. And, I'm not a fan of Jimmy Dore. I'm much more of a fan of the ecosystem that you built. Huge fan of Nomi's show. Was a huge fan of Michael's show as well. So I love that entire community that you have. That being said, I really think it is a good idea for us to bring up that Medicare for all for a vote. And I've got a few, I'd like to discuss it with you guys and see what y'all think about it. I've heard.
So I want to say real quick, just what is the idea, right? We're going to put pressure on Pelosi. If she doesn't put the things on the House floor for a vote, Medicare for all, instant runoff voting, universal basic income, then we're not going to vote for her. We're not going to just give our votes to Nancy Pelosi. We're going to use the power that we got, and one of those powers is the power of the ballot box, right? And in a democracy, I'm sure you all would know that. So in a democracy, you got the power of the ballot box. We got an opportunity to kick Nancy Pelosi to the curb. Nancy motherfucking Pelosi is hated. America don't like Nancy Pelosi. America likes universal health care, 72% of a Fox News poll. So let's do what America wants. Let's get America some health care. Let's get America $2,000 a month, and let's get Nancy Pelosi and just put her up to pasture in Alaska somewhere. We don't need Nancy Pelosi. She's terrible for 20 years. My God, what, she impeached him, and she, said, bullshit. So a lot of the arguments they want to say, well, who's going to be next? Hakeem Jeffries. If it's not Nancy Pelosi, it's going to be Hakeem Jeffries. He's going to be the new speaker in 2 years anyways. He's a compromise candidate. But I'm okay with that. Right? Compromise, meaning he's a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, right? HR 1384, Pramila-Care. So we're pushing for Pramila-Care, not Bernie Care, not Obamacare, but HR 1384. So we're going to push Nancy Pelosi to pass Pramila-Care, or to not pass it, to put it on the House floor for a vote. Just to vote for it. And that's what Emma, Sam, Naomi is fighting so fucking hard. What? A House floor vote for M4A? Yeah, just like women's right to vote. You put a House floor vote for women's right to vote in 1915? Dumb idea, ridiculous. Nobody's going to pass it. Well, actually, it only lost by 20 votes, 209 and 194 or some shit. Women's right to vote loses in 1950, but guess what happens 5 years later? Women get the right to vote in America. So, right now, there's the forcethevote.org petition. Go sign it. So far, there's been 25,000 signatures. 25,000 people support this idea. So this is an entertainer who is putting a lot of attention on a very simple, common sense, obvious, good idea.
A lot of the discourse that y'all have mentioned And my main points are that right now, ACA has never been weaker. Trump has been trying to completely do away with it, and Joe Biden, we know that he's going to rebuild it. So if we don't attack it from now, it's going to be really, really tough to do in the future. And the third point is that right now, in a pandemic, a lot of people are losing their health insurance. I lost mine whenever I lost my job a few months ago, and because of that, I think we do have a really, really strong case.
So Individual's got this, little smile painted on his face as he's talking about how he lost his health care. 14 million Americans have lost their health care. Does that make you smile, Emma?
To make a point that we deserve Medicare for all as citizens of the country and not just as employees. And if we're able to really put it there as a vote, then we could have all of the people who are for it, that we know have co-sponsored it, get on the floor, make their point about it.
So I want to go ahead and make the case about... I don't want to make the case. I want to just say, what is the situation we're up against? What does the House look like? What does the Senate look like? So the Senate is actually very close, 48 to 51. The GOP has 3 more senators than the Democrats, so the Republicans control the Senate. However, there's a Georgia Senate race. And I believe they said there's 2 runoffs. 2 runoffs means what? Both senators are up for re-election. And if the 2 switch over to the Democrats, then that means the Democrat Party has control of the Senate. So the Democrat Party has control of the House, 233 and 196. But because Joe Biden's president and Nancy Pelosi is the speaker, you have Seder Individual and Miki Khan saying it's fucking impossible. It's impossible. Pelosi's the speaker. She's going to be against it. That's why we don't elect her speaker. We get Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries, good, honest, decent man, and some new blood, some new perspective. My God, just putting dinosaurs into positions of power. What are we doing here? So what does the landscape look like? Right now, the House is controlled by the Democrat Party. The House is controlled by the Democrat Party with 37 members, 233 Democrats, 196 Republicans. So if the Democrats get their shit together in the House, the Democrats can pass any and every goddamn thing that they fucking want to in the goddamn House. So that means we get Medicare for all. That means we force the vote. Nancy Pelosi goes down. We get Hakeem Jeffries, and then it goes to the House, and we vote for it. Medicare for all just passed. Why? Because the Democrats control the House. And how come when the Democrats control the House, people say that it's impossible? Well, the Democrats control the House, so it's fucking impossible to get Medicare for all. The Democrats control the House, so it's impossible to stop the wars or poverty or homelessness. The Democrats are in power. It's impossible to stop police brutality. It's impossible. So why even try? Why even try? Why even try to use the power of the ballot box? Why did you use power to get something for your vote? Because that's fucking democracy. Are you dumb? What's the matter with you? And I'll say this, so ultimately it comes down to the Senate. In the Senate it's 48-51. Could you convince 2 Republicans to possibly sign up for Medicare for all during a pandemic? Who would vote against universal health care during a pandemic besides Emma, Sam, and Nomiki? Besides Emma, Sam, and Nomiki, who would vote against universal health care? I bet you we could find 3 Republican senators, and that's if we don't win the damn Senate with the Georgia Senate runoff. If we win the Georgia Senate runoff, then the Democrats have the House, they got the Senate, and they got the presidency. They got the executive branch, they got the legislative branch. Only the judicial branch would be the conservative branch, which means, theoretically, the Democrats can pass whatever fucking good piece of legislation that actually helps America. If they give a shit about America, $2,000 payments a month is what we need. Cut out all that pork. And get us universal health care, for God's sakes.
About it, and whenever it does get knocked down, which we know, this could incite that direct action that Jamie always talks about, and we could leverage that in order to really make these protests and hold our individual representatives accountable and try to force them or kick them out in the next 2 years. And in that way, I see it sort of like hacking and failing, where we use the inside-outside strategy that Lula da Silva was so famous for effectively utilizing in order to really build that coalition on the inside and outside.
Let me just see if I understand the chain of events that happened. Like, look, and
well, real first, I want to explain. So, what's the best case scenario for the vote? The best case scenario for the vote is the Georgia Senate goes and flips the Senate to the Democrat Party. Now, the Democrats own the Senate and the Democrats own the House. So, you would think that the Democrat Party would actually be the party that actually gives a shit. Not true. Most are fucking Republicans. You only got a handful of actual progressives. So the Republican Democrats ain't going to help shit, right? That's what they're trying to say. But why are the Democrats Republicans? How come we don't have what the fuck is going on here? Anyways, best case scenario, we have both the House of Representatives, the Democrats do, and the Senate. You got the House of Representatives, you got the Senate, and they can just pass it. Worst case scenario, the Democrats don't take the Senate, but we still have the House. So we can get Medicare for All passed in the House, and then it goes to the Senate, which is 48 to 51. 48 to 51. That's a coin toss. We could get Medicare for All, a coin toss, heads or tails, flip a coin. So there is, room for this to lose. But what the hell else are they doing? They haven't come up with a better idea yet. And,
And again, I want to stipulate that I think the idea of leveraging the vote has value. Leveraging the vote for Pelosi.
oh, okay. Thank you, Sam Seder. It has value, but us arrogant assholes stuck up in the ivory tower, we laugh at anything we don't understand to make it seem like you don't know what you're talking about. Hopefully you internalize. It's negging. This is negging. Non-stop negging. Hopefully we fucking listen to...
Has value, okay? But if I understand what you're saying here is what's going to happen is this vote's going to come to the floor. Now, presumably what has to happen is 10, I think it's approximately, it depends on how many people show up, all right? The way that the voting works is this. You need to get the majority of votes for the speaker of named votes. So, for instance, the progressives who go there, they have to go, because if they don't go, it's still just a majority of named votes. So 10 progressives could not show up in Congress, and it would still be, it would be close there. Let's say 9 could not show up in Congress, and if everybody else in the Democratic and the Republican caucus showed up, I think there'd be one more vote for Nancy Pelosi. So they need to show up. They cannot vote present, because if they vote present, they still have the same dynamic. It's as if they're not there. They need to vote for somebody else. Let's say they vote for Noam Chomsky. All right? Then it goes back. There's no winner because nobody gets the majority of the voting.
Hakeem Jeffries will win. Hakeem Jeffries.
Back to the caucus. They say, we demand a vote on Medicare for all. Okay, you'll get that vote. Incidentally, all of you will never get a committee ship. Don't ever. We're going to nail you on everything. But
okay, he's saying if we push for a Medicare for all vote, they'll never get a committee chair. AOC didn't get a committee chair. So what the fuck are you talking about? Your little committee chair little plan fucking failed. Your committee chair plan failed, and they're going to talk about it. They're going to talk about Kathleen Rice. They don't believe the narrative to it.
Okay, you're going to get your vote. Then the vote comes back. The full House votes on Medicare for all. The vote ends up being approximately 315 to 118, whatever it is, 305 to 118. I don't know how many, 435, but we have some that it might be extant. So
there's 233 Democrats and 196 Republicans. How come the 233 Democrats didn't vote for Medicare for all during the pandemic?
So Medicare for all, assuming every single one of the co-sponsors of the bill vote for it, it loses by 300 votes. Then, according to the plan, the Democrats who voted against Medicare for all, who had already not co-sponsored the bill, that list gets disseminated. there are, I don't know, 200 districts, 110 districts, let's just say off the top of my head, 100 districts, let's call it 100 districts.
I want to interject real fast just because this is a good idea. So I just want to make my point, as hard as I can. So best case scenario, Democrats control both houses. And so there should be no question, right, getting Medicare for all. That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is that the Democrats control the House and the Republicans control the Senate by 1 or 2 votes. And so that means, best case scenario, Democrats control both houses, so they could just go ahead and pass Medicare for all, right? Worst case scenario, Democrats control the House, and then it's a coin toss in the Senate. Best case scenario, we get Medicare for all. Worst case scenario, we flip a coin to see if we get Medicare for all.
Where Democrats voted against Medicare for all, and 2 years from now, that vote, because people are going to organize against it, is going to vote those Democrats out, and a Democrat who supported Medicare for all in. And that's the upside. Have I got that right?
I would make a few different alterations to that. Medicare for all is important not only to Democrats, but it's also important to Republicans. By doing this, we really say this is more of less of a nonpartisan. We make it more of a nonpartisan issue.
Okay, but in terms of change, there's going to be Republican organizations who are going to primary Republican lawmakers who don't do Medicare for all. Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm suggesting that we put it in the national consciousness, like Bernie Sanders did for us in 2016.
Bernie Sanders did it.
It's the most popular piece of legislation in the world that has absolutely zero path right now in Congress. It's not because...
It doesn't have absolutely zero path, Nomiki Const, but what say you?
It's not because Republican voters don't want to vote for it.
I don't want to refute it. I just want to look at the best case scenario. I'm just trying to tease out how this...
The best case scenario, Democrats control both houses and we actually get Medicare for all passed. Worst case scenario, the Democrats control the Senate, the Republicans control the Senate, and it's a 50-50 coin toss.
It actually physically works, and the benefit that comes from it.
And as Sam says, in this best case scenario, there will be more retaliation against those members that organize it. Okay?
Yeah, I'm just going through this.
But that is the trade-off.
Right, that is the trade-off.
Because if you stand for an issue that you actually believe in Congress, then you don't get any power. They don't have any new ideas. They don't have a better idea. They're not pushing for Medicare for all like they give a fuck.
Be afraid of that retaliation.
I know.
Obama couldn't get anything done because they ran against Obamacare, his one piece of legislation, for...
I want to just keep this focused here. Okay.
I think that is focused.
Keep out the retaliation for a moment. That is that the best scenario?
So I've had several debates with my friends. I was actually on your side of saying we should...
No, I don't. You don't need to give me the filler. I'm just trying to look at this thing.
I think that's...
In its shiniest
I think that's the best option.
Okay.
I think that's the best bet.
So in that scenario, and so now in terms of cost, I know you're not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of it either. The cost is that you inhibit the ability of our greatest allies in the House to negotiate for anything, to build a coalition with anybody. At best, maybe they voted for Hakeem Jeffries or Noam Chomsky.
Hakeem Jeffries. I said it in the beginning.
Or whomever for Speaker. Eventually they get
Noam Chomsky isn't part of the U.S. House of Representatives, Sam.
And this vote happens. It gets slaughtered, right? 3-1 in the Congress. And you have diminished the power of the progressives on this issue. And ostensibly, it's going to get us what?
Well, 2 points about that. Every representative, everyone who went up for election that supported Medicare for all, won their seat. You guys have mentioned that on the show several times. Also, on Nomi's last show, she mentioned that AOC lost her committee chair, on the Energy Committee.
Well, she didn't.
Lose it. She never
She
had
didn't
it.
get it. Yeah. Well, she did lose the vote. She did. There was a vote.
She wasn't on the committee. But part of that
So she
was.
lost the vote. But see, she lost the vote because the other candidate or the other person who was able to get that position leveraged her vote where she said publicly, I'm not in support of Nancy Pelosi.
No,
and
you're
she was able to now
sequencing this
get
wrong.
that vote.
She said that.
I am.
She said that.
Okay, so this is Kathleen Rice, and Kathleen Rice is going to be the person that beat AOC to get the Energy and Commerce Committee chair. So they're sitting there saying, oh, you're not going to get any committee chairs. Well, AOC got beat out by the Kathleen Rice. And the way I understood it was that Kathleen Rice had threatened the speaker not, to withhold her vote unless she got the chair, and then she got the chair. They're going to vote, and it's going to be like 49-13. So some people supported AOC, right? She had about 10 people in Congress that supported her to be the chair for the Energy and Commerce Committee. This is AOC being disciplined by Nancy Pelosi and the neoliberals. No, you don't need to be radical, AOC. You want to abolish ICE? Well, that's too radical. You want to get a Green New Deal and save the environment and save America and get Medicare for all, guaranteed jobs, guaranteed education, and guaranteed housing? That's the Green New Deal. Medicare for all is a part of the Green New Deal. Now AOC says she's not even going to fight for the damn thing. So they're talking about Kathleen Rice, how she won the chair. This just happened a week ago. Kathleen Rice is a House rep, a Democrat, neoliberal, but the way I understood it, she threatened her vote to Nancy Pelosi and got the chair. And then there was 49-13 votes. So it was Pelosi encouraging the neoliberals to fuck over the progressives. So you're not getting your committee chairs anyways. Emma Vigil and Sam Seder, well, if you ask for Medicare for all, you're going to lose your committee chairs. You're losing your committee chairs right now. AOC didn't ask for shit. AOC didn't ask for shit, but they know what she thinks. And, my God, if we put her in a position of power, then her thoughts actually become relevant. So they want to go ahead and just, put baby in the corner. They don't want her thoughts to become relevant. They're fucking AOC over, and yet all the hatred goes for Jimmy Dore and not Pelosi. They're fucking AOC over. Where are you guys at? A bunch of establishmentarians, when they fight each other, you can't say shit?
But I
she
think
said that 2 or 3 years. She voted against Nancy Pelosi 2 years ago. But what happened in this instance is you had a lot of people who were mad at AOC for primarying Republicans. This was primarying Democrats. This was them disciplining AOC.
And primarying Democrats is the way to hold the Democrats accountable. So the Democrat Party is like, no, we don't want, we don't want to be primary. We don't want to be held to account. We don't want to be held to actually do something. So because they don't like AOC's, primary and Democrats and changing, everything, they said she can't have a committee chair. They already hate AOC. She's already disliked. So, since she's already disliked, why not put the pressure to actually get something and then maybe put AOC in the House? Could you imagine that? AOC being the damn speaker? That's possible.
The issue of her,
Henry
of
Cuomo
Rice,
said it.
yes, the issue of Rice not voting for Nancy Pelosi is not why this happened. This happened because AOC was being disciplined. And you know who had her back?
And then Nomiki Konst is agreeing, with Sam Seder. Yep, AOC was being disciplined. Yep.
Nobody.
And then Sam Seder says nobody had her back. Well, she had 13, people that supported her. It was like 49-13. So overwhelmingly, AOC, got the shit kicked out of her by Nancy Pelosi and the neoliberals when it came to the election for the chair of the Energy and Commerce Committee chair. So some people supported AOC. She had about, a dozen supporters.
And the point is that she will be disciplined further, and she saw those primary endorsements as an intelligent, measured way to leverage her power. Not one progressive lawmaker right now thinks this is an intelligent way to leverage their power.
And they're 100% wrong. All AOC has to do in order to help primary Democrat, neoliberal Democrats is to look at the candidate who's running and then to pick the one that's a progressive. And then to say, hey, I like the progressive better.
When they see other openings because
they're basically making it sound, Emma Vigilant is making it sound like AOC is in the hot seat. AOC has been a bad little girl and they're punishing her, and she's going to continue to get punished until finally she just says, okay, Massa, what do you want me to do? And then we'll get Medicare for all? Is that how it works, Emma?
because there's a reason that Mitch McConnell wanted to bring Medicare for all for a vote in the Senate. And he talked about that publicly. And the reason was...
Yeah, let's all live our lives by Mitch McConnell there. You think Mitch McConnell could say, okay, let's go ahead and vote for it to make you think that he's a Republican, lying, manipulative, low-life, coercive piece of shit? So Emma Vigilant talks about how smart Donald Trump is in his veto threat, talks about how smart Mitch McConnell is and his, whatever. And Destiny, right? Destiny is a right-winger who just absolutely hates this idea because he hates progressives and he doesn't want progressives to succeed. How come Emma Vigilant, Sam Seder, Nomiki Konst is on the same side of Destiny? A right-wing piece of shit who says that, no, I don't want Medicare for all for the nation, so I'm going to mock the strategy and the tactic because I don't want progressives to win. That's why Destiny's doing it. They want to sit there and tell me Mitch McConnell thinks blah, blah, blah. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck what the fuck Mitch thinks. He'll say whatever the fuck it takes to get the fucking thing done. So he'll tell you he supports your thing just to get you off of it. Fuck Mitch McConnell. Terrible argument. Destiny's a right-winger. We're going to fucking start quoting Destiny. Well, Destiny wanted to vote too. This right-wing asshole online. So what? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Acting like, well, Mitch McConnell, that's fantastic. If Mitch McConnell wants to vote, that means it'll be put up for a fucking vote. And then the whole world, we can put the pressure on, do the thing that we're talking about doing. Mitch McConnell can't wait to put, just like the Green New Deal, they killed the Green New Deal. They made the Green New Deal relevant. If the Green New Deal wasn't put up for a vote, then it's just a pie in the sky idea. Green New Deal ain't nothing. But because it was put up for a vote, now it's like, what is this thing? What are we talking about here? So, yeah, I disagree with Emma Vigilant big time.
Well,
he does.
But the reason was because he knew that a vote would sap the legislation, the idea behind Medicare for all, of its power. And now progressives, ostensibly, I mean, I know you are coming in good faith, but yes, I should take that back. A lot of good progressives are arguing for this, and I disagree.
Wow, Emma Vigilant evolved there a little bit, right? She was going to say that they're bad people, but no, I listened to Kyle Kulinski. It's not their intentions. We just disagree. So, okay, I like that evolution.
I don't think it is strategic. And, Eric Levitz wrote in his piece today, and I think it's just a really great point, that the morality of...
Eric Levitz is a hater, too. So there's a hater club of Jimmy Dore.
An idea has to be equated with, or has to be seen in balance with its practicality or its likeliness to succeed in a current moment. And a lot of that can be from outside pressure, and you can change things. But right now, it's not within the realm of possibility.
It is in the realm of possibility, you liar.
Level and did not make many gains as they could have. There is no leverage. And so all it does is...
We have a vote. That's leverage. We cannot vote for Pelosi.
Slamming your head against the wall or slamming the remote, as Sam has been using. All it does...
Exhausting yourself.
Exhausting.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, that's the thing is, if there was a union involved in this, I'm hearing way too much about protests and not enough about strikes. You're not going to change this level with protests, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong, but if that's the theory, I think we should be explicit about that, and I think it bears scrutiny.
Can I mention something real quick? Jane McAlevey comes on your show a lot, and my show, and I happened to pull up her book. If you guys haven't seen it, I have it right here. I'm going to read one little part at the back, because she's been talking about this for years. There's one line, it's just on the cover of the book. On the cover, it says that a strategy today's progressives have mostly abandoned, meaning the power. Okay, she says, she makes a compelling argument that great social movements of pressure in previous eras gained their power from mass organizing, a strategy today's progressives have mostly abandoned in favor of shallow mobilization or advocacy. So in this book, if you guys want to know there are no shortcuts. It's called No Shortcuts for a reason. People are like, Jimmy Dore has elevated this in a way that's never been done before. That's just not true.
So Nomiki Konst is actually just trying to take everything away from Jimmy Dore. He didn't cause this moment. He didn't bring about this moment. The fact that we're actually having this conversation finally. I know why we didn't have this conversation to begin with, but this is where the conversation should have began. This is where the conversation should have began. The reason why we hadn't had this conversation because you got the fascist in chief, the smart man who got a veto threat according to Emma Vigilant, fucking smart man, right? Fucking super fucking smart man. He's been trying to steal the election, still trying to steal the election.